Okay, I'm gonna give you a hard one. Can you say il trovatore? Can you say that?
Il trovatore.
Oh my goodness! Hi, my name is Charlie Kim, and this is Opera for Educators with LA Opera.
Allora, sì, dove la martella? Vedi le fosche notturne, spoglie dei cieli, sveste di immensa volta. Sembra una vedova che al fin si toglie i bruni panni onde fra in volta. Allopra, dagli, martella. Chi del gitano i giorni abbella? Chi del gitano i giorni abbella? Chi giorni abbella? Chi del gitano i giorni abbella? La zingarella. Tratto era coraggio il corpo e l'anima traggono del bere. Bere! Sì, bere! Bravo! Vino! Salute! Bere! Oh, guarda del sole il raggio brilla più vivido nel tuo bicchiere. Allopra. Chi del gitano i giorni abbella? Chi del gitano i giorni abbella? Chi i giorni abbella? La zingarella. La zingarella, la zingarella.
Welcome. What you just heard was one of the most famous opera choruses known to mankind. It is the Anvil chorus from the beginning of Act 2 of Il Trovatore, or The Troubadour, by Giuseppe Verdi. This chorus has been immortalized by cultural greats such as Bugs Bunny, Gilbert and Sullivan, and is still used today in several films and commercials. The music represents the introduction of the people known as the Gypsies in relation to the people from the nearby ancient northern Spanish kingdoms of Biscay and Aragon. Really ancient, like the 1400s. More about that later. Before we dive into the opera itself, here are some quick key facts about good old Joe Verdi that you should probably know before diving into the opera Il Trovatore. Il Trovatore was based on a popular play at the time by Antonio Garcia Gutierrez. The play was very popular at the time, so it was assumed the viewer knew a lot of backstory, kind of like how if you're going to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, you probably don't need an explanation of who Voldemort is. I don't know. The opera was to originally be named after Azucena, the mother of Il Trovatore, whom Verdi believed to really be the central character of the opera. Although Verdi was trying to stay away from definite numbers like duets and arias and choruses, it still came out that way. However, the feeling of the drama unfolding doesn't necessarily stop and demand applause and breaks in the story, even though it looks that way in the music. Before we even get into the pre-plot, you need to know who the characters are and which teams they play for. So there are basically 3 parties involved here. There is the Kingdom of Biscay, and there's the Kingdom of Aragon, and then there are the Gypsies. Di Luna and Leonora are from the Kingdom of Aragon. Manrico is serving the Kingdom of Biscay. However, we find out that he is actually from the Gypsy people, and the mother of Manrico, Azucena, is a gypsy. Here is the story you need to know before the curtain rises. There is Di Luna Sr. and Azucena Sr. These are not real names, I made them up. Di Luna Sr. blames Azucena Sr. for his son being sick, so he sentences Azucena to be burned at the stake, Azucena Sr. Azucena Sr. tells her daughter Azucena Jr., who is the central actual Azucena in the story, "Avenge me, daughter." And so Azucena Jr. goes to Di Luna Sr. and abducts a baby. And she comes back to the fire, and in all of the confusion, Azucena Jr. is holding in the one hand her own child, and then the baby she abducted. And in a plot of revenge, she throws a baby into the fire, but she ends up throwing her own baby into the fire accidentally, instead of the Di Luna Sr.'s baby. And so she ends up raising Di Luna Sr.'s child as her own in the gypsy camp. The child's name is Manrico. The child is Il Trovatore, a gypsy. But he sharpens his swordsmanship, and he climbs the ranks of the Kingdom of Biscay, the rival Kingdom of Aragon, which is Di Luna and Leonora. He joins the forces of the rival kingdom, the Biscays. That all happens before the opera begins. I am looking at my script for this because I'm not memorizing this plot. No, I'm not going to say that. In the beginning of the opera, we find Di Luna courting Leonora below her balcony unsuccessfully because Leonora is in love with a mysterious, unknown troubadour that is singing and playing off in the distance, that she has seen time and again, and all of that relationship is established. When she hears him, she rushes out, and Di Luna, who is lurking in the shadows, she mistakes Di Luna for the troubadour singing, and she goes, "Whoops," and says, "I actually meant to be with the troubadour over there." And so they end up having a duel, which climaxes in a beautiful trio. And Manrico, who reveals himself, ends up pinning and winning against Di Luna, and is about to strike the final blow, but says some mysterious force prevents him from actually going for the kill. We come to learn Il Trovatore is actually a gypsy, and we are introduced to the gypsy camp and Azucena, and we are told that side of the story. Manrico then receives news that he is to be sent to guard a castle for Biscay against Aragon, and also Leonora is about to enter a convent and swear off relationships forever because she thinks Manrico is dead. And so he hops on his horse or whatever and goes and to stop her from entering the convent and do the heroic thing. He gets in there and he is vowing to protect the castle and ends up marrying Leonora. And they get married in the castle. While they are getting married, the castle is attacked by who else? Di Luna and the Aragonian army. Also, Azucena, is his mother, Manrico's mother, gypsy mother, is caught lurking outside of the castle and is immediately recognized as the woman who threw Di Luna Sr.'s baby into the fire and is immediately condemned to be burned at the stake on sight. Manrico receives news of all of this at the wedding altar and in the heat of it all says, "I'll save you," and he literally sings a high C and goes to save the day. Cutscene, he is captured and he loses, and Manrico and his mother Azucena are imprisoned and awaiting execution. Sad day. And Leonora comes in to beg for Manrico's life to Di Luna, who has captured him, and sings a beautiful thing and offers herself as exchange, in sacrifice for Manrico's life. Di Luna happily agrees, and she, in true opera fashion, slips a little bit of poison and goes to tell Manrico the news. And Manrico immediately suspects that she gave up her virtues to save Manrico's life, and she reveals to him that she slipped poison so that she wouldn't have to go through with it. Surprise! Di Luna again is lurking in the shadows and overhears the whole conversation. It jumps out and immediately sentences Manrico to execution right then and there. And we are left with Azucena and Manrico wishing for simpler times from the beginning when they were at Gypsy Camp. And Manrico is dragged out, and as we can hear what is happening, we see Azucena saying to Di Luna in the final words of the opera, "He was your brother, mother, you have been avenged." And that is the end of the opera. Right after the Anvil chorus, without any room for applause or break in true Verdi Verismo fashion, we go right into the aria Stride la Vampa for mezzo-soprano, which is the retelling of the day Azucena saw her mother burn at the stake.
Stride la vampa, la folla indomita, corre a quel fuoco, lieta in sembianza, urli di gioia intorno echeggiano cinta di sgherri, donna s'avanza sinistra splende sui volti orribili, la tetra fiamma che salza al ciel, che salza al ciel. Stride la vampa, giunge la vittima, nero vestito discinta e scalda, grido feroce di morte levasi, l'eco gli ripete, ti balza in balza, sinistra splende sui volti orribili, la tetra fiamma che s'alza al ciel, che s'alza al ciel.
After hearing his love, Leonora was going to take an oath to join the convent because she thought Manrico was dead. He rushes off to stop her, for lo, he is not dead. He arrives just in time, and they are wed right then and there in the castle. And right on cue, a messenger arrives with the news that 1, Di Luna is attacking the castle, and 2, his mother Azucena has been caught outside of the castle and recognized as the woman who threw Di Luna's baby into the fire. And in heroic fashion, Manrico vows to save the day, complete with a 6-measure long high C and manly backup chorus.
Di quella pira l'orrendo fuoco, tutte le fibre marse vampo, empi spegnetela, occhio fra poco, col sangue vostro la spegnerà. Era gli figlio prima di morti, non può frenarmi il tuo martier. Madre infelice, corri a salvarti, a te col meno corri a morir, a te col men corri a morir, a te col men, a te col morir. Allarmi, 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 madre infelice, allarmi, 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 salve col men, a te col men col morir. Allarmi, 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 madre infelice, allarmi, 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 salve col men, a te col morir. Allarmi, allarmi,
Unfortunately, our valiant hero is immediately captured, and now he and his mother both are in jail awaiting execution. Leonora comes in to beg for Manrico's life and make an exchange, and under the beautiful solo pleading line, you can hear the monks in the distance singing 4-part a cappella men, which are the monks mourning the loss of those lives that have been lost already, which telegraphs the answer that Leonora is about to get.
Miserere, t'un'alma già vicino alla partenza che non
At the end of it all, Azucena realizes the inevitable, and a melody escapes her lips from a simpler time as she longs for the times with Manrico and the gypsy camps from earlier in the story as she is contemplating the end of her life. They sing a poignantly simple duet, and as the drama unravels at the end with Manrico's execution, we are left with Azucena's final words, which are the final words of the opera. Tu di Luna, he was your brother. You are avenged, O mother.
Ai nostri mondi ritorneremo, l'antica pace ivi godremo. Tu canterai sul tuo liuto in sonno placido io dormirò. Riposa madre, io prono e muto, la mente al cielo rivolgerà. Tu canterai sul tuo liuto, la mente al cielo rivolgerà. Tu canterai sul tuo liuto, la mente al cielo rivolgerà. Io dormo, riposa, io godrò. Io dormo, riposa, io godrò. Liuto del cielo, io dolcerò.
Hey, opera fans! Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of the most epic dramas in the repertoire, Il Trovatore. I hope this gave you a little more context outside of just the Anvil chorus, because the world of Il Trovatore, Verdi, and opera in general are as large as the imagination can make it. See you at the opera. They say, bravo!
Bravo!
Yeah!